Welcome in, everybody. Before we get into silver stacking episode number 9, I want to go over a quick synopsis and an overview so that you can understand what's going to be in this update. First, we're going to go over how gold made a run at all-time highs, but as of today has failed to hold the $2,000 per ounce level. We'll talk about how the gold-silver ratio has, for the first time in quite some time, fallen and held under the 80 to 1 ratio. It's at about 79.1 to 1. We'll also take a look at the silver chart so that we can see and get a better understanding of what kind of movement it's in. And are we really in a bull market or the start of one in the commodities, or better yet, the precious metals when it comes to gold and silver? We'll take a very close look at that, and also the US dollar currency index, because it's in quite a interesting spot here, as it could be putting in an inverted head and shoulders that could bring us up to like the 105 level, but that's speculative, and I'll show you what would have to happen for that to happen. And I'll just show you more reasons why it's very important to stay on top of when the gold-silver ratio is at 80 to 1 for future times when you can trade silver for gold. We'll get into a lot of things, but I want to touch base on the charts especially. Make sure you hit that like button so that we can push through the analytics, and share this into your precious metals groups, and share this to some of your friends who might be trying to buy precious metals but are looking for the proper advice and not somebody who's trying to make a little bit of money on the side. I'm going to play the intro, and then we'll get into this update. Make sure to hit that like button. Good late morning, 11:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, April 24th, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I want to thank you for tuning in to Silver Stackers episode number 9. We're also going to be talking about PBR today as well. I just didn't want to lead with that, but we'll be talking about PBRs. They have their dividend payment on Friday, and the confirmed dividend is 1.104. You heard that correct. So for every share you hold, and I believe they pay up to, I don't even think there's a limit, to be honest with you, but it's $1.10 and some change per share that they pay per dividend. Just for an FYI, I have $6,000 in PBR, around $11.52. So that's where I stand right now, because I'm trying to get this dividend payment, and it looks very nice to me because it looks like it's, you'll see in the chart when we get into it. But gold as well. Well, you know what? We start with PBR because this is a commodity-based Silver Stackers episode as well, and I try to give you insight, but I don't want to forget to do this, and I'll feel bad if I do, because they pay a dividend of it's 1.102 for Friday, April 28th. So you have to be, what is it? You have to be in, but that's the expected date, but the payment date's Friday, May 26, 2023. So, but it's 1.10. But the reason I'm showing this is we've had a golden cross in the 4-hour time frame. So I believe if you can get a little bit of room in between you and the buy, and let's say you get up here to like 1340 instead of not being in now, and then you get the dividend payment, because I believe people are going to pour into this, especially up until Friday now, and it makes sense why it ended up building this golden cross. But telling you, this is a very interesting one to be in with dividends, and I do it all the time and ride it. Dividend payment. Dividend payments, and it's hard because if you get in the wrong spot, sometimes you get in the dividend, you'll see a dump right after, or a dump on it, or a pump right after. We've had it like that. We had close dividends. This time we're kind of in a down cycle before the dividend, and that's what you really want to see, is more of a down cycle. The earnings come out on May 9th, so we'll see what happens. Sometimes it's one of those things, like I like to get in before the dividend expiration date, to where you have to be in by Friday. And then everybody's pouring in, and then you can make some money as it pushes up, and then you technically don't even need to be in for the dividend. But that just depends how it plays out. So we'll just see what happens. But that's just more of a heads up that there's a dividend payment. It's a pretty substantial one. And then Petroleo is basically a government-run Brazilian oil company, exploration. But their books are unbelievable. They got so much cash on hand. Their earnings are looking phenomenal. Their PE ratio is at 2.10 right now. So, and they have a market cap of $73.43 billion, but their PE ratio is on point. So, it's one that I'm willing to take a shot with and see if it rallies at all. And then we'll see what happens when it comes to the dividend time on Friday. But as far as the chart, I mean, it doesn't look bad to me. It looks like it's building a nice reversal here. And then as long as you stay on top of like this, you really want to stay on top of this area, about $11.66 roughly. Built a little W reversal, but that's all I'm going to spend on this. You can do your own research. That's just a heads up that they have a really big dividend payment, and it's been rounding the bottom here, so it's very possible that this is going to push up in the short term. Last month, it's up 21%. Last 5 days, down 3.73%. Year-to-date, up 25%. But the last year, it's still down 12.45%. So it's got a lot of room to move still. Gold, 1982. It's up about 50 cents per ounce right now. It's sitting at, let's see, 1983.60. But it's had a bearish cross here in the 4-hour time frame. So if we get a rejection here, I keep saying I didn't think it was just ready to go up right now all the way without a little bit of a retracement. See, I wouldn't be surprised if gold comes down and retests like this 1850 mark. I hope I'm wrong, but something tells me that it might still have to come back down and retest here. We'll know, though. We'll know if it loses 1966 in this cup and handle. That's how we would know that it would need a further retracement. But just pay attention to that, because I don't believe our cheapest of gold buying days are over just yet. I don't think it's just going right to the top, because I really believe that something's going on with the U.S. dollar. I really do. Like they're not just going to let it die just yet. I hope I'm wrong. I hope gold just explodes, because I've been buying it, gold and precious metals, and backing it up for, I don't know, 7-8 years. But that's what we'll look at with gold, so just pay attention to that. So there's some options here for you to pay attention to. Crude oil prices, the reason why PBR, in my mind, it's something we need to talk about as well, like I need to show you, is because crude oil is at a point where, because of what they're doing across other sides of the world, there's a possibility that this could go on a little bit of a bull run here and start pushing, some higher numbers. And this was a critical point here on this 200 days. So we'll see what happens here with oil. But if it starts breaking out here, it could get a little more expensive here in the USA. So just pay attention to what's going on across the world, because it might get a little more expensive here at the pump if we, in fact, hold this daily support. And it's very scary if this does bounce up, because we're going to get back and we might push over this $87.40 a barrel. And that's going to be a big problem in the States. It really isn't. You can see how this might have pulled some kind of W reversal here. And I seen this, I'm like, uh-oh. Because it was getting a little cheaper around me, and now all of a sudden it's starting to explode the price again. But if this really did this, we could be in some trouble, folks, at the pump. So start making plans right now, because that very well could be reversing here. I'm telling you, that could be the start of some kind of cup and handle here with oil, where it might be coming back up to that 112. I hope I'm wrong, but that is possibly what could be happening there. With silver, we're at $25.10 an ounce. And we are, as of right now, we're still technically on a breakout, but I think we need to retest the breakout. That's why I really think we're going to break down here a little bit. And it's not that we're bearish. I think we need to test the 4-hour support on the 200-day at $23.88. It makes perfect sense. Look how long we were in this descending triangle, or you can call it whatever you want. Downtrending resistance, uptrending support. I'm not here to pick the patterns out for everybody, but we're in this very wide pattern that goes all the way back, and we could technically start it all the way back here. Where were we at? March of 2020. And now we finally broke out to the top side. So it seems to me that X marks the spot is there for a perfect retest, and that would verify our breakout. And that's about the $24 level. So pay attention to this with silver, please. Pay attention to this. I don't want anybody to get caught with fake expectations, like, oh my God, we're going up now right to the moon. Because I don't think we are just yet. I think we're starting to try to confirm some big, massive breakouts to try to confirm a bull run starting. But I'm not necessarily convinced we're there just yet. I think we still got a little bit of work to do, ladies and gentlemen. Not a lot, but we got a little bit of work to do to confirm the breakout. And then I really wanted to take a look at the gold-silver chart, because this was all technical analysis based. And I want to explain the 80-to-1 gold-silver ratio and above. Right now, it's under 79. I told everybody. When it made this final push up here, I said this is probably our last chance up here. And if we ever do see a rejection down here, and we could be coming up, we didn't even make it back up, but We came up and back down. Now, even if it pushes up, if you get a rejection here, we've had a death cross in the daily. So what that means is we could be trending down. And I tried to make an example of this, how quickly this can happen. Let me get rid of this. I don't even know what the hell this is. But I was trying to show how quick this could happen in here. Because we're breaking down like this, and it's such a... So, sorry, this is what I was trying to show. So, basically, this uptrending support on the bottom, we could be finding ourselves on the gold-silver chart. Even if it can bounce back up in there, we could come down to like the 77 to 1. No, it's actually a little bit lower now. 76, 74 to 1, just to try to figure it out. Now we're bouncing in between here. So it very well could be 76, 74 roughly. 76, 80, we'll say, just to be safe. 77. 77 to 1. And then it might bounce back up here to 82 and get rejected. But other than that, if it breaks down and gets rejected by like 77.20, let's say. Or, let's go a little bit lower. About 77. If you get rejected by 77 below, that could be a big problem. We could be coming down way farther on this gold-silver ratio. So please, pay attention. And the importance of why we always talk here about the gold-silver ratio being 80 to 1 is because if you buy silver and it's 80 to 1 or higher, and then you trade it for gold, when it gets down to, let's say, 40 to 1, that's my example, from 80 to 40, you get to keep 40 out of the 80 ounces of silver, and you get a free ounce of gold when you trade it in. So that's the importance of it. Please hit that like button, and let me know in the comments what you want to see on Silver Stacking episode number 10. And this episode number 9 was about getting you on track with the charts so that you understand what's going on in the world of precious metals and commodities. Have a blessed day.